Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Well, today is National Lighthouse Day. It's a day to go to the beach or to your local harbour and have a look at the lighthouse, if there's one there. A lighthouse is the beautiful tower that keeps ships safe. Usually it has a big light on the top and it guides the ship safely into the port. Really, you need to visit one to appreciate its majesty and mystery. I love lighthouses, and they're often used as metaphors about life in general, not only about the darkness and dangers of life, but about that bright light that seems to guide us. In many books and I suppose art as well, lighthouses are the main focus. Now, I know there's a Russian artist, I can't remember his name, who always paints pictures of the sea. I can't remember if he did lighthouses, but the light and the way he uses light in art is quite amazing. And then, of course, there's all kinds of photography. Last year, someone gave me a calendar which had many lighthouses from around the world. Truly beautiful. I'm sorry to say that lighthouses here aren't really preserved well. There was a time when someone lived in the lighthouse, of course, and as the sea would batter against it, the man would happily be shining that light day and night. Well, I know that nobody lives in lighthouses here anymore. I think the last one, the last residential lighthouse or the last inhabited lighthouse closed some years ago. Definitely it was within my lifetime anyway. I remember it happening. Lighthouses have also been the feature in many horror movies. I think in that movie, The Fog, the radio station was in a lighthouse, wasn't it? And she could look out across the bay and see the fog coming, which was going to kill everyone. Was it Misty for Me? What was another movie? Play Misty for Me. Yes, that was it. Weren't they in a lighthouse as well? Play Misty for Me. Yeah, there's been numerous horror movies which have used lighthouses. Wow. Whatever way you've encountered them, lighthouses represent a piece of history. They've comforted travelers because of their sign of hope and their guidance. And some of them have really, really nice views. I was watching a YouTube clip recently now. Where was that? I think it was a group of people who had traveled to an abandoned warehouse. I have a feeling it was a Dutch clip. It was on YouTube. It wasn't English anyway. It was a group of young people who decided to go to visit a lighthouse. Beautiful. And it was in the middle of nowhere. Actually, there's numerous clips like that. If you just put into YouTube abandoned lighthouse, I think you'll find many of them. If you've ever visited a lighthouse, then you'll know about the stability and serenity that they bring to the area on which they stand. I mean, they're very peaceful things, aren't they? Technology's all changed now. Lighthouses, I think, are completely automated. I'm not even sure that they're all used now because ships have GPS guidance systems, don't they? So I don't know exactly if the lighthouses if they are still used or not. But certainly they provided hope to anyone looking for land, especially those people in small boats. Did you know that lighthouses were around even before we had electricity? You know, we always associate them with that big beacon of light, that big lamp that shines. But originally, it was actually fire or coal that was used to create that source of light in the lighthouse. Then they went to oil burning lamps. And then I think electricity came to the lighthouse in 1875. Hard to imagine, isn't it, that these lighthouses were guiding people home long before we had electricity in our houses. My goodness me, that's quite something, isn't it? So there's many reasons to celebrate the lighthouse as a metaphor, as a beautiful thing, as a guide. So many wonderful words that you could use when you think about English learning as well. And of course, lighthouses have to weather a lot of storms, from high winds, because they usually sit on cliffs. So they're built in a very special way, aren't they? So that they can face the very worst of the weather. Not only that, but technology, as I mentioned before, is moving, so the need for the lighthouse isn't really the same, but the structures are still focal points for local residents where they are. And you can't deny their beauty. Oh, they really are beautiful. I think they're kind of cylindrical in shape, aren't they? They've usually got an eye-catching red stripe on the side of them. So yes, very nice, very nice. Really, it's a picture for a postcard or a calendar. I'm sure there was a lighthouse in Pete's Dragon. Do you remember that Disney movie from the 70s? That little boy called Pete and his friend the dragon. I'm sure there was a lighthouse featured quite prominently in that one, and maybe in Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve. That was a good movie. There might have been a lighthouse in that. Oh, and of course, Jaws. I don't remember any lighthouse in the Jaws movies, but I'm sure there probably was one, or at least there should have been. So yes, happy National Lighthouse Day. Many lighthouses are preserved and people volunteer to look after them. I noticed that that's the same in the Netherlands, you know, with windmills. Many windmills are looked after by volunteers and they're open to the public. And when I go my holidays to the Netherlands later this year, I'll be going to visit a windmill. I love windmills. But anyway, we're getting off topic here because we're talking about National Lighthouse Day. I seem to remember another movie from the 80s called To the Lighthouse, about a family that spent their last summer on the beach before the outbreak of one of the wars. I think it was the First World War. That was a good movie. Yeah, I think it was an adaptation of a novel by Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf, wasn't she related to our queen, Camilla, somehow? I'm sure she was, you know. I don't remember what the connection was, but there was some connection. I'm sure Virginia Woolf was somebody's lover in that family. But anyway, yes, getting back to lighthouses, beautiful things, really. So if you do have time today, go and visit those beautiful, serene, majestic lighthouses. That's it from me. See you all. Bye.